Give me a Black teenage protagonist with the ability to hear glimpses of the future on a mission to find her missing friend before she herself becomes a victim. And this mystery thriller fantasy with a side of mental health representation and magical realism will have you looking for clues of sentient identities in tangible household objects. Are you ready?
Yeah, 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 yeah. The Books and Vogue podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come get your favorite next book. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Books and Vogue podcast. Yeah, yeah. With Catching Brad.
Welcome, book lovers, to the Books on Vogue podcast. This is your premier listening experience all about immersive reading and helping avid and reluctant readers alike imagine book characters like never before. I'm your host, Kat Trinidad. The format of the show is I introduce a book, share tips on how you can engage your senses as you read this title, because it's one thing to be a mood reader, but you get a little something extra from the story when you are a set the mood reader. And finally, I will end the show with a reimagining of my favorite scene. Today, we will discuss techniques for getting into needy little things with none other than the author, Channelle Desamours. Welcome, Channelle.
Hi, Kat. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Please tell us about the book.
Gladly. So, Needy Little Things is a young adult speculative mystery that follows 17-year-old Sabraya, who has the ability to hear what people need. So, these are tangible things usually, like a hair tie, a phone charger, or a pencil, things like that. Well, one day, while at a music festival with her friends, she fulfills a need for one of her friends named Deja, who vanishes shortly after. Unfortunately, this is not the first time Soraya has had a friend land on the missing persons list, and she is determined to make sure she comes home. So, this book shines a light on the disparities in media coverage between Black and white missing persons, but it's also very much about mental health, friendships, and family.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Chanel. Do you care to join me in a discussion of some tips for setting the reading mood?
Yes, of course. I'm happy to. Let's get into it.
Well, okay, book lovers, I hope you have your writing utensils ready because class is in session.
Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it. Ah. Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it. Ah. Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it.
The Books and Vogue podcast.
So, Chanel, what's the vibe? How can we engage our spirit as we read this book?
Okay, so I would say the vibe is like when you have a really busy day, lots of errands and things to juggle. You stop by the store to pick up some things for dinner, go home, prep your meal, and put this pot on the stove to simmer. But then you get distracted with all the other little things on your to-do list and forget about the pot. But you've got to be careful because if you let that pot boil over, there might be a surprisingly big mess to deal with.
Okay, okay. So, what's the sound of Needy Little Things? What key notes in music or nature could set the tone as we read this novel?
So there's actually a really important scene in the book that takes place at an alternative Black music festival. So I would say pull up your most genre diverse or genre blending playlist from various Black artists, hit shuffle, and settle in.
Okay, okay. The first thing that comes to mind is Santi Gold.
Yeah,
She's a alternative Black artist that I really, really enjoy.
I gotta check her
Um,
out.
so do share the aesthetics. This can be any visuals aside from the book, such as lighting.
So while reading Needy Little Things, I would cozy up on the couch and read as dusk is transitioning into night. Once it gets dark, flick on a warm, like yellow tone lamp and read until you're ready for bed. But before you get in bed, make sure you leave that lamp on because you might wake up in the middle of the night and be glad you did.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what's the flavor? Any food or drink companions for this title?
Ooh, okay, so I'm a high school teacher, and needy little things flavor would be classic teenager fare. So grab your watermelon Sour Patch, grab your Takis, maybe some pizza rolls, and a big cup of your favorite juice filled to the brim with ice. Make sure you give it a nice vigorous shake before each sip, and there you go.
Okay, okay, yum. So, what is the aroma? Are there any smells to transport us into the pages?
Yeah, for sure. At that music festival I mentioned, there are a lot of vendor booths. So you've got the smell of incense and shea butter wafting through the air. That's mixing and mingling with like sweet and spicy smells coming from the various food trucks. Lots of good eats and lots of good scents.
Okay, okay. So, last but not least, how can we get more of the feels?
So, because of Soraya's gift, constantly hearing the needs of other people, she is pretty overstimulated a lot. She gets migraines, there's a lot going on in her head. So, you could kind of tap into what it's like to be her by like pulling out your best noise canceling headphones. She's always wearing them. And a nice weighted blanket while you read to kind of mellow out your nervous system, keep you nice and cozy, especially once you get deeper into the plot.
I'm so glad you said that because now it explains the cover art.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
explains the cover art with her wearing the headphones.
Yep.
Yeah.
She likes to block
Question.
outside noise. Yeah.
So while I'm on the topic of cover art,
Mhm.
could you explain some of the other little things swirling around her on the cover art?
Yeah. So, Soraya, if she's like within a certain distance of people, she can sense what they're going to need. They don't know that they need these objects. So, in her head, it's kind of a constant influx of just paperclip, nail file, comb, just and it doesn't go away until she fulfills the need. So the cover is kind of representing like all the busyness in her head, and you've got all these little random objects. Sometimes the objects end up being for very useful or important things, and sometimes they don't matter at all. It's just, you never know.
Okay, okay. I noticed there's a lot of money, a lot of
Yeah,
money swirling around.
yeah. In her efforts to find Asia, not a spoiler, it's in the synopsis, but she does try to hustle her ability for some cash to help in her efforts to find her friend.
Okay, okay. Make that money. Don't let the money make you.
Yeah, could get her into some trouble though, but yeah.
Well, there you go, book lovers. These are your recommended supplies as you read this title. If you're able, pause and get some of these if available, or simply imagine because it's time for my favorite scene. Disclaimer, please note that exact words, names, locations, and or scenarios mentioned in this reimagined reenactment may differ from the actual book. Sharing my favorite scenes, I reenacted though, imagining the fiction world that I've been reading of. Going from all the things, I just gave you a list. Come experience all the senses as protagonists. And it don't get more real than this. Immersive read with books on both and live vicariously. After School Walk, starring Channelle Desamours as Soraya, and the narrator, and Kat Trinidad as Malcolm.
Malcolm and I waved goodbye and watched the buses roll out before starting off down the sidewalk. I got in trouble in class today, I say, relishing the quiet in my mind as we walk farther from the school. My physics teacher is probably going to be calling your burner. Malcolm brought a secret extra phone last year when he kept getting his main one taken away for texting during class, but it has come in handy for me more times than it has for him.
I'm about to start charging you for my services.
Love you forever. I lock onto his arm. How was your day? Hit me with a recap.
First block was ass. No way I'm going the rest of the semester without popping, well, actually, Howard in the mouth.
He scrunches up his face like something smells bad.
But second was good. Me and Deja finally figured out what to do for our social studies project. We're going to get a head start next week. I usually won't condone doing schoolwork over summer break, but your boy trying to get A.
I don't share your enthusiasm for social studies, but more power to you.
Anyway, what are you about to do? Come watch a movie with me?
His eyes drift to the top of my head.
I'll help you take your twist out.
I'd be offended by the offer if I hadn't been needing to redo my hair for the past week. But I have to work. But it's only half shift. Come with. You can knock out your homework, then we can go back to your place.
Eh.
He says, catching another imaginary whiff of something foul. Malcolm, come on, it's been like 3 months.
It can be 3 damn decades. I'm not going back to that janky little ice cream shop, even though that woman knows she owes me her recent uptick in business to me. I heard about some of those new flavors. She thinks she woke now? I see. Needs to take old shit, your privilege, and go on somewhere.
Malcolm quit his job as associate scooper at Sweet Pea's Ice Cream when he finally confronted the owner, Miss Jess, about her sometimes problematic, puntastic flavor names. All flavors matter was Malcolm's breaking point. A customer got the whole ordeal on video, which promptly went viral. I even caught a few memes of my own slack-jawed face in the background. I'm not the biggest fan of Miss Jess myself, but Malcolm's family is well off. He wants to work. He doesn't have to. Best I could do was leave her a list of recommended reading, which she gladly accepted. But that also led to her current cringe-worthy wave of socially aware flavors. We come to the place in the road where we have to part ways. I give him one last pleading look.
Girl, bye.
He waves me off.
Love you. Book lovers, if you have enjoyed this sneak peek, you can get more by reading the whole book. Needy Little Things by Channelle Desamours. It's available at your local library and everywhere books are sold. And if it's not, requested, because you deserve to read all the books that interest you. And if you have already read Needy Little Things or in the middle of reading it, let me know in the comments what you like to do to set the reading mood, because I would love to hear from you. So please leave your feedback. Channelle, is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners?
Then it's just thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone listening. I hope you'll read and enjoy Needy Little Things. I have another book coming out in February 2026 called They Call Her Regret. So if spooky speculative mysteries are your thing, you might want to check that out.
That sounds exciting. I can't wait for that release. I just want to say thank you, Channelle, for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you again for having me.
And thank you, book lovers, for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Books in Vogue podcast, I'm sure you will love similar content in the Alive Podcast Network app. Plus, you can support this podcast and enjoy ad-free listening to nearly 100 other Black-hosted podcasts. And now I leave you with peace, love, and joy. Happy reading.
The Books and Vogue podcast. Come get your favorite next book. The Books and Vogue podcast. With Channelle. Subscribe, listen, check out recommendations, and happy reading.